Hey y'all, I absolutely love this blend. Smoking a Savinelli Melee. And this pipe, the Savinelli, it really likes luxury Bullseye Flake. And I love that blend, and I've been smoking it for quite a while now. I got a review on the channel. You can check that out if you'd like to. But I really like the blend, and it just gets better every time I smoke it. It's a blend that it's aging really good, and it has aged well, and it's gonna age well. And man, you know, maybe they call it luxury Bullseye Flake because the damn show hit the mark with it. It ticks a lot of boxes for me with a blend. It may be slowly becoming my favorite blend. Not sure yet, but maybe. It has aged so good. And so what do I like about it, you know? I can't say enough. So I like that it's a coin. That's one of the first things that sort of attracted me to it, the coin cut. I thought that was cool. So I like the cut. It's fun to play with. It's fun to fiddle with. It looks cool. The first coin cut I smoked was a Scudo. And, you know, as far as vapors, that's kind of like the granddaddy of vapors. And so I tried it first. And I liked it. But, you know, that's a blend that gets better with age too. And to me, when I smoked it, I enjoyed it. But I missed something, and I felt like the something was just a tad bit of sweetness that I sort of wanted and that I sort of like with my blends. And I found out about Peter Stokkebye and the Luxury Bullseye Flake, and I found out that it had that black Cavendish in it, and it gave it a little natural sweetness. I went for that, and I never looked back. And I only bought like 110 of a Scudo. I opened it, I smoked a couple coins, I jarred it up, and I've smoked it a couple of times since then, but I don't think probably won't buy any more Scudo unless it just goes on sale. Unless I have some come my way, I'll be glad to acquire it. But I found this, and this filled that vapor niche almost immediately. And to me, it was everything a Scudo was, but with a little bit of sweetness, and it was a little cheaper. So I got to studying about this blend. I smoked a little, I bought some and I liked it, and I got to doing some research on it and all, and found out that as a Virginia Perique blend, it would age well, and that Stokkebye sort of puts this out with that in mind, that, you know, if you put this away, it's going to sing for you in a few years, as a lot of Virginias will. And I can attest to that. It is absolutely true. So what I did, I found out that I liked it, and I went and bought a 1.5 pound box, a pound and a half box, and it was so awesome. And I actually documented it on my Instagram. I'm on Instagram at Quiet Pipe in the Woods, and I had it documented on there a while back, and I did sort of a channel revamp, and it got lost in the mix, so I don't have those photos anymore. But it was really cool. The presentation was really neat. It came in a white cardboard box with a cool Peter Stokkebye logo, which is actually on the tin of the jar of Stokkebye that I'm currently smoking out of, my sort of working jar. I have that logo on the jar because I just thought it looked so cool. But it came in a big box, big wide rectangular box, and I flipped open the top, kind of like a donut box, and I flipped open the top, and there was in little neat, awesome rows. All these beautiful rows of this luxury Bullseye flake, kind of like poker chips. Yeah, lined up in rows, and it was beautiful. And I jarred all that up, and it has just been aging since then. That was a few years back. I'm not even sure. I would have to really track down when I bought that box. But I can say now that it did not smoke like this when I got it. It didn't. I could tell that the potential was there, but it didn't taste like this. This stuff has aged beautifully. And it's one of those things that I realized slowly. It seemed like, you know, I would smoke it and I would enjoy it, but then I wouldn't go back to it for a while. And then when I would notice a change. I would notice a difference. And the more I smoke it, the more I realize how good this blend is aging in that jar. So it's Virginia, Perique, and unflavored black Cavendish, which gives it sort of just a natural sweetness that I really go for in my tobacco blends. I mean, a heavy aromatic is one thing, but a blend that has just a touch of black Cavendish for sweetness, maybe a little bit of roundness, body, I enjoy that. Not overdone, not too much sweetness. I don't want like just candy sweetness. And that's what I like about this blend. To me, it does the sweetness just right. It does the black Cavendish just right. Just love the way it looks. It's just a beautiful tobacco. You can see these coins are not exactly tightly wound. The edges are not real sharp, like a Scudo, but I still love the way it looks, and it's still, I feel like there's quality that goes into preparing these coins. And then you can see the black Cavendish in the middle there, and that's another thing about this blend. It takes some prep time, but you know, I'm okay with that. I think I said that in the review. I'm okay with that. I don't mind the prep time. To me, that's part of the fun of pipe smoking, is playing with your tobacco, fiddling with it, touching it, you know, preparing it. And I will say this blend benefits from some prep time. Sure, you can stuff and puff. Sure, you can break it up into big clumps, shove it in, and go to puffing. It'll do that. You can smoke it that way, and I'm sure some dudes do, stuff and puff. But I think Stokeby themselves, they recommend breaking this blend up. And also, what I like to do with that dot of black Cavendish in the center, I like to really break that up as fine as I can get it into nice, tiny little granules. And that way, I break that up really fine and sprinkle it around, and then break the rest of the coin up just like sort of as close to a ribbon as I can get it. And I feel like doing it that way, what that does is that allows you, as you smoke, you get sort of tiny, small pockets of sweetness, and it's nice. And that's the way I like to smoke this blend. I break it up really good, and then I take that center. I always sort of bust that center out and crumble it up, and it's sort of soft and almost gummy, that center of black Cavendish. But if you work with it, you can get it broken up into a fine, almost granular sort of material, and just sprinkle that around with your ribbons of Virginia and Perique, and just load it that way. And that way you get pockets of sweetness all throughout the whole bowl, and it sort of just melds together as you smoke. So the sweetness is nice, and that's how I like it. I like it sort of sprinkled throughout the entire bowl. Now, if you stuff and puff it, you may get one nice hard slap of sweetness when you get a big chunk of black Cavendish. When that starts burning, you may get that really big sort of sweet hit, and that's maybe what you want. And if so, that's cool, you know. So there's the sweetness from the black Cavendish, depending on how you prepare it. The Virginia, so to me, as this ages, in the jar note, and even in the taste, So what I'm getting as far as the Virginia taste here, if you were to take a fresh homemade loaf of bread, take it out of the oven while it was still warm, slice it straight down the center, and take your nose and stick it in that loaf of bread, and smell that freshly baked, warm, homemade bread smell. That's what you get in this. And I didn't at first. Now, it doesn't smell like that right out of the box, but as it ages, I get that deep bread note in the smell and the taste, and it is very, very nice. It has just a quality taste to it. If you like bready Virginia, there's a little bit of hay, but it's almost all, to me, bread. Yep, fresh baked bread. That's the Virginia side. Then with the Perique, to me, the Perique does something that I've always wanted my Perique to do in a blend. It gives you that, again, I think this is something that it has acquired with its age, but it gives you that fruit basket tone. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever, around Christmas time, a lot of grocery stores, or they used to, especially your sort of small local IGA grocery stores, they used to do fruit baskets. And you could, what you would do is you would go and they would take a bunch of different fruit. They would be oranges, bananas, apples, grapes, maybe even cherries, pineapple. They would take all these fruits, and fresh fruits, and they would put them into like a wooden or a wicker basket, and then they would wrap it tightly with some cellophane, usually green or red for Christmas time, and then put a bow on it, and you would get that as a gift, a Christmas fruit basket. I used to give my grandma one, and she always thought that was really cool, and they would make it look really pretty. But whenever what this tastes like is if you would take that fruit basket and take a knife and just slit that cellophane open, pull it back, and stick your nose in those fresh fruits and smell that bouquet. That's what you get here. It's a fruit bouquet. It's rich, it's deep, it's sort of plum fermented. It's also a little bit high and tangy. It's all that, all that. Bread, fruit, little sparkles of sweetness from that black Cavendish. Very, very nice. It ticks so many boxes for me. Now, depending on what you like, there is no smokiness here. There's no smokiness, there's no leather, there's no campfire, none of that. There's no latakia in this. So there's nothing like that in this blend. That's not the experience you're gonna get here. The experience you're gonna get here is, it's simple. It's bread, it's fruit, and it's a little natural sweetness. And it just sort of builds as you go down the bowl. And those are the flavors that you get over and over. And I can get them back to back. I can get that rich, fresh baked bread in one puff, and the very next puff, fruit basket. There's no flavoring here. These are all notes that I'm getting from the tobacco themselves, and I think a lot of it is the aging. This blend did not taste this rich, this deep, and this good when it was fresh. Again, I could tell the potential, and I already liked it better than the Escudo, I think because of the Black Cavendish. But I could tell the potential for the aging, and that's where this blend is gonna shine. You jar it up, you put it away, you forget about it, and go back to it in 3 years. I'm looking at probably 3 years on this, 2.5, 3 years. And, you know, far from its peak, I would say. I'm just now beginning to taste what this blend can do. It's cheap. You can buy it in bulk. Very affordable. So yeah, if you like your Virginia's bready, if you like your Perique, it's not a Perique bomb. It's not slapping you around, but I like the taste of Perique. There's not really, to me, there's not so much of that spice, that burn on the nostrils. There's a little bit of it, but not too much. To me, it's more that deep fruit taste with the Perique. And I like that. I like, if I'm gonna go for a Perique, I like it to sort of surprise me with a fruity character. I think that's so neat to get that from a tobacco. And again, the Perique is gonna do its own thing as it's aging. So it's aging, the Virginia's aging, and melded together, and then the Black Cavendish is in the center. And again, I sort of take that out. I sort of pop that center out, sprinkle it, break it up, sprinkle it over the rest of it, and you combine the two. But it just all works well in concert together. It may not be the best vapor on the planet, you know. There's a lot of vapors out there, and there's a lot I haven't smoked. There's a few I have smoked, a lot I haven't smoked. But you know, it's kind of like when something works, you work it. And I'm working this blend, and then you know, this blend started singing even more. It was the combination of sort of the age, and then getting this pipe, smoking it in this pipe. Sort of changed the blend a little bit for me. I'd only really ever smoked it in cobs, and I'd never found a briar that I wanted to call, you know, this blend's pipe. But this blend has found a home in this pipe, this Savinelli Melee. Cool looking stem there. So that's another thing that has just sort of taken this blend to the next level. The age, along with finding a pipe that it likes, it just sings in this pipe. So it's cheap, comes in bulk, it's gonna age really, really well. The tastes that I'm getting are just so good. Bread and fruit, a little bit of hay. Sometimes on the very tail end of a puff, like with some Virginias, you get almost like a natural tobacco note, and that's good. It's one of those though that even though it's not flavored, you're not just tasting just tobacco. I mean, it's just tobacco you're smoking, but you're almost tricked into thinking you're tasting something else. That's how good the blend is. But it reminds you that it is tobacco. And I like that. Nicotine. Hard to say. I'm a nicotine lightweight. I would never say this blend has hit me too hard. And I smoke it fairly vigorously because I like it. I retrohale a pretty good bit. And I would say I feel it. But as long as, I guess, maybe you don't go overboard, I don't think nicotine is something you have to actually worry about with this blend. But if nicotine is something you're looking for, you're going to get a little bit out of this. I do. Yep. I just think this blend is it's something special. And I really appreciate Stokkebye and the companies that make Stokkebye available to us here in the U.S. They're like a Danish pipe tobacco company, and they were around for decades before we were able to enjoy these blends. So really glad that we're able to get our hands on them over here in the U.S. This is the only Stokkebye blend I've ever smoked, but I bet you because I like this one so good, I'd probably dig some of his other blends. Yep. Great flavors, fruity bread, a little sweetness. Takes some prep time. So, like I say, I feel like that comes with the blend. You got to be prepared to do that. You got to be prepared to sit there and break these coins up if that's how you want to smoke. If you want to stuff and puff, that's great. That's going to save you some time if you like to do that. Some guys like to smoke that way. But it's going to take a little prep time. This pipe holds 3 coins. Probably could hold 4. 3.5 would be pretty comfortable. 3 is pretty comfortable, but it leaves some room for it to sort of fluff up when you light it. So, but 3 coins, this is a pretty deep bowl. 3 coins. So I break those 3 coins up. I just keep breaking, keep fluffing them. I sprinkle that black Cavendish all throughout there, keep fluffing it up, and then I let it sit for a few minutes and sort of barely crisp, and it burns really good. Well, I suppose I've gushed enough about it. Thank y'all so much for watching this presentation. I really appreciate it. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think about Peter Stokkeby's blends. Let me know what you think about this blend. It sure is a good one. If you haven't smoked it, give it a try. And if you want to buy some to age, I can tell you that it will be worth it. This blend ages really, really good. I'm just now finding that out. And who knows, in another 3 years, it's going to be even better. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like this content if you dig it. Thank you so much. See y'all again next time.